Hello, it's your resident horny correspondent, Ash Parrish of The Verge. Alex Jaffe reached out and asked if I'd be willing to share my thoughts on the Halo TV show, and of course I said yes, so here I am. If you're watching the Halo TV series and you're not caught up, I'm going to drop some pretty significant spoilers. So if you're not about that spoiler life, skip ahead until you hear Jaffe again. For the rest of you, especially my Halo lore fans, I hope you're sitting down because what I'm about to share is huge. So the Halo TV show has already been pretty liberal with its interpretation of the series. Its creators have gone on the record saying that it's not taking established canon into account, and at the beginning that was pretty great. Shows like this don't have to be one-for-one super faithful things. That's why they're called adaptations and not recreations, right? All of the choices that they made for the Master Chief, the decision to show his face, all of that, I really dug. First episode, I really appreciated his burgeoning relationship with this young girl by the name of Kwan Ha. They had this kind of buddy cop dynamic that I thought was really cute and an interesting exploration of the Master Chief as he struggles with accepting his humanity or learning about humanity. We're talking about a guy who has been kidnapped by the age of 6, like he's essentially like a child soldier that's been reared by the UNSC to be this emotionalist super soldier. And seeing him interact with this young girl was really good. I dug it. Great. Perfect. A+, no notes. Over time, though, the series started to make some choices that I haven't vibed with as much. And all of that has come to a head in this most recent episode in which the Master Chief has sex. That's right. The Master Chief is not a virgin anymore, and we can finally, for good and all, answer the question, does the Master Chief fuck? Now, for those of you worried, it's okay. He does not have sex with Cortana or Dr. Halsey. It's actually worse. You see, the Master Chief has sex with a human Covenant spy. It's funny because during the act, while they do the deed, Cortana is forced to watch because, she's an AI stuck in his head. And she has this look of, God, I wish that were me on her face, which is funny because, AIs don't believe in God and they're not supposed to wish. On top of that, it's even funnier because the Master Chief, like I said, he's this guy who's been kidnapped at the age of 6, was raised to be a soldier, was embedded with this emotion suppressant chip. He's all about the mission. He is a career consummate soldier. Apparently, once he removed his little emotion regulation chip, he developed the skills to be such a good lover that the Covenant spy was ready to switch sides. His master beef cured her. It's so funny. On top of all of that hilarity, the events surrounding them having sex and then what follows immediately after is probably looking like it's gonna put in motion the events that lead to the fall of Reach. So, to summarize, the Master Chief had sex and it's probably gonna cause the fall of Reach, which is just a mind-boggling sentence to comprehend on its own. So this event of the Master Chief having sex is causing lots of trouble in the community. You've got one side of people who are applauding this decision, if only for the fact that the showrunners had the sheer balls to do something so wildly out of character with this guy with whom we all pretty much have a good idea of who he is and what he does and what he does not do, which is fuck. And on the other hand, you have these people who think it's the worst sin that has ever been committed in video game adaptations because this is the equivalent of giving Batman a gun and having him intentionally kill the Joker. And I know now that I've said that Alex Jaffe will come up with several instances in which he does just that. But the point is that this is anathema to the Master Chief's character. Even with all the liberal interpretations that they've done with him so far, this just feels so wildly out of place. And for the most part, I agree. I'm not sure where I fall on, is this good or is this bad? I think it was poorly done. I think if they wanted to show him having this connection with this spy, that there were better ways to do that than actually have them having sex. It just doesn't make sense to me. Depending on what side of the matter you fall on, I'd love to hear people's thoughts, but that's what's going on in the Halo TV fandom right now. So it's fun. It's been a wild ride. So that has been Master Chief Does the Covenant. I have been your host, Ash Parrish. You can find me on Twitter at @AdAstra. Thanks for listening, and now we return you to your regularly scheduled insert credit.